feel like WE is up to the task as far as that goes.
Well, into the draft here, Misfits on the blue side, taking away Ezreal, for jungle, and Galio. I think finally, Rusty, I'll turn to you instantly. Teams are learning their lesson. Ban Galio versus the LPL teams.
Yep, you should definitely get rid of Galio against Team WE, RNG, even EDG. If Scout gets a chance to play that, I'm sure he'll be perfectly fine. It's a very strong champion, but even for the LPL teams, Jarvan, another example of it. You get rid of those two, you've at least started your draft well.
And the question just becomes, do you actually ban out something like the Rakan then? So it is going to be Xayah. They ban out half of the combo. To me, again, I just feel like Janna has been so much more successful in this tournament than anything else, and Misfits do reward their faithful fans with a Janna pick.
Got that easy draft pick here as Misfits do take Janna away, but WE locking in Sejuani with one more to go.
And it does mean they can go for something super aggressive like the Rakan if they want to be looking for that engage. You know, speaking of the LPL style of being able to find these fights, whether it's early or late, the Kog'Maw Lulu composition is also something, because that is the argument that a lot of people make about first picking Lulu. They say, well, you can't afford to give over Lulu Kog. And we may have that tested here.
And we know that Kog Janna is an adequate lane. We just saw it do quite well. Kog Lulu is super strong, and instead of going for the Lulu portion, they do pick the Kog'Maw. So I like this from Team WE, but Misfits still have a lot of champions there. Gragas in the jungle role if they choose, and it seems they want to change up their AD carry.
Varus actually, so a lot more aggressive, a lot more early game here in that 2v2.
Yeah, definitely some very powerful laning from the Varus, I do believe. And we've also seen how powerful the Varus Janna combo can be at shredding tanks with the Rage Blade build, with the protection that is offered by the Janna. Obviously, famously, everyone's going to be talking about the Prey game, the most damage per minute ever done at Worlds, 1500 DPM in that game. But even we've seen the combo from G2 with Sven executing quite well here also.
Interesting Rek'Sai pick there for Misfits, and Maxwell going to take it in a bit more of an aggressive direction. I kind of like this from Misfits. They've shown a lot of early aggression be one of the parts of their successful style here at Worlds. So, you know, taking the Janna and then pairing it with some more aggressive picks to show up the early game that you do want to have as WE take the expected Lulu away.
And for me, it's important that Misfits are showing us more than one person that can also play that aggressive style. They can mix it up this time. It's a Rek'Sai. He can choose to hard farm. He could go Cinderhulk, or he could go Warrior build, be fully offensive and get that Guardian Angel. And the fact that he's got that option there for Maxlord to me is very important. He can pass well, he can communicate with the team on which they want.
And I will say that while Tank Rek'Sai can work, I feel like if you're just going to split farm against the Sejuani, that is a losing strategy. Whether you go Warrior or whether you go Tank Rek'Sai, you need to be aggressive. You need to have advantages in the early stages of the game, because Rek'Sai is just hilariously ineffective compared to the team fighting of the Sejuani in the late stages.
Well, I love this as well. WE with a pretty standard Syndra ban there versus Power of Evil, but continuing to learn lessons. Misfits Gaming banning away Rumble.
I mean, Kog'Maw's already locked in, but they might just ban Caitlyn to send a message at this stage. They're banning every single thing that Team WE wants to play. You're right, what WE have removed is fairly standard, quite good. I like the last ban. Misfits, one left.
I would actually really like a Jace ban here, force them into something where they could be over-itemizing towards magic damage once again. And that has been something that has been punished throughout the tournament a number of times. Obviously, last game it did not matter because of the enormous lead that Flash Wolves were able to develop, but they are going to go for the Rise ban instead.
A little curious, but taking away a mid laner there from Xie, WE can have to show a little more of their draft, and kind of had
Also
this one
available
on the brain.
Yeah, there's a lot of champions for Xie. LeBlanc's one of his better champions as well. He's got the Jace still up. It wasn't banned, as you mentioned, Azael. Lucian fits that bill quite nicely if they want more physical damage. Means that 957's most likely just going to be a full tank if this is the route they go.
And Lucian locked in.
So the blind pick Lucian, we'll have to see what Power of Evil feels like he can answer this with. We have seen Lucian be so dominant in lane, famously Scout really crushing some lanes, but not being able to actually execute in the mid and late game stages with this pick. So while it does have a very dominant laning phase, you are going up against a Rek'Sai, someone that you're going to have to show respect over to. Shen is also available, something that we've seen be an answer to the Lucian in the Cloud9 games in that group.
Yeah, and unsurprisingly, one of the good matchups into Lucian is Cassiopeia as well. Just by having that grounded there, you can't do a full efficient combo if you're Lucian, or if you do, you're then stuck next to the Twin Fangs just being blasted at you. So good decision from Misfits. It makes a lot of sense. Power of Evil's a very good cast.
And it's also a very good combo with the Rek'Sai, because if you can have the flash knockup coming from Rek'Sai, you layer that Miasma over top of it. He cannot flash out, he cannot dash out. It makes it very difficult to deal with. I also do always like the Maokai against short-range AD carries such as Lucian, because in the chaos of a team fight, it's so easy to step that 1 inch too far forward, get hit by a root from Maokai, and get burst down.
Well, Maokai for Misfits and a standard Cho'Gath for 957 and Team WE. I think this is a lot of how we would have expected the draft to go if we got to choose champions before coming in. So teams should be happy with the position they're sitting at. Misfits, again, we talk so much about their preparation all year long to get to this point, to potentially take a win here and guarantee themselves a spot in the quarterfinals. It would be an incredible journey if they can keep going on, and for them, they just have their eyes on WE.
And Misfits, they can force a potential tiebreaker for first place, right? They can actually win this game, still get first seed for Europe, which would be such a massive upset for this team that was not expected to do anything in the group. And we know how massively important the first seed is. It's even more important in this group because there's no Korean team in the group. And so what that means is if you're second seed, there's multiple chances to get these powerhouses teams from the other group. Longzhu, SKT, RNG, so dominant. And that would be terrifying for anyone.
Certainly would be. Well, we've said rip 'em the pick'ems for a lot of today already. So don't worry about those, but don't forget that you can help raise the stakes for our competitors with 25% of the proceeds from Championship Ash and Ward skins being added to the prize pool, while another 25% will be donated to charity. So if you haven't done it yet, get it. It's great, I promise.
Certainly is, but we've got a game at hand first, pastry time, and now we have to take a second to appreciate the team compositions in the early games respectively for both of these guys. Misfits, very good early game team. Team WE today have been absolutely dominant just from winning lane. And to me, this matchup's a really good opportunity for Misfits to try and push WE around, get them out of laning phase. It's no longer a Caitlyn Janna. They have to show something different.
Exactly. It's once again kind of a similar situation where you're talking about if you draft for an advantage in a certain area, you need to then be able to execute on that, right? The Rek'Sai needs to get more early than the Sejuani because the Sejuani is stronger late. Likewise, I would say that the Lucian needs to get more early than the Cassio because the Cassio is going to have those late game advantages. So teams need to play to their strengths and try to shore up any weaknesses.
Well, one thing we are looking towards, though, from Misfits as an adaptation is the Varus pick in the AD carry role. The reason that that is important is it compensates for the Rek'Sai choice. For Maxlor, the engage isn't reliant on their jungler. It can be Hansama that does that. It means that at level 6, I'd be looking at bottom lane.
Yeah, and even Alfari, right? The Maokai has very powerful engage, and Varus, as we know, can deal very well with this front line. You know, this is not a Shen to be able to parry away the auto attacks. If you are doing well on a Rage Blade, Hurricane, Blade of the Rune King, Varus, protected from the Sejuani and the Cho'Gath, you can shred through them.
Well, we've generally seen WE look so strong through their bot lane, even though the rest of their team is more than capable of doing heavy lifting at times. Mystic and Ben have been such a force. Mystic in particular all tournament long, and WE, they seem very refined here, but so I like that Misfits are trying to take some sort of leverage in the bot side early, and we'll see what Maxlor does, because his pathing last game dismantled TSM.
Now, we mentioned that leverage, absolutely true. Maxlor is someone we'll watch through the early game, but Mystic also has cleanse when we talk about leverage in the bottom lane. So yes, Hansama will be an engage to a bottom lane's a big focus point, even for Maxlor as they tick around to 6. Mystic has a tool to deny it, to defuse it completely, and it could be a big thing for Team WE.
Well, it looks like Alicia there does mean Misfits miss out on a single CS, but Hansama already at it onto Ben. Thunderlord's proccing there from the Lulu, certainly expecting WE to also play 2v2 very aggressively in this lane.
Hansama has been such a nice story to actually see, and while there were super high expectations for someone like Mystic coming into the tournament, many people had him rated as one of the very best AD carries in the entire tournament. Hansama is such a young player and has really been a bright spot.
All right. Oh, they're still going though. Mystic
aggressive.
Remember, he only has cleanse, so he can't really defend anymore. The barrier is there, but Ben is going to stay on Hansama, but now he's caught out of position with only a flash. That's going to be first blood over, and Janna grabs it.
In the straight up 2v2, Misfits bot lane get first blood there, and that is a massive start for them.
Mystic just forgot he had cleanse, I think, and kind of walked up aggressively and doesn't have a barrier, so backs away. And suddenly Ben's caught between a minion wave with nowhere to go.
And so smart from Misfits, recognizing that it is the cleanse here onto Mystic. It is not the early combat spell, and they're just willing to take this fight. But Condi coming down bot lane with love to equalize this.
Not spotted yet, but Wave pushing towards them, so Misfits can play pretty safe here. It may all be a ruse. Here's Condi finally revealing himself. The ward, though, does spot him. Condi looking for someone. It's going to be the Janna. Igna dodges out the first one, then gets out from under the potential stun.
Well handled by both sides, still forcing the flash. Very good from Condi, but it means he is perhaps going to lose something on the top side of the map, and it's going to be up to 957 to try to mitigate that, to stay safe and not give up any potential kills.
Yeah, and you know, ultimately, whilst the bottom lane trade happened, the kill goes on to Ben. Mystic's still getting full experience, as much farm as he can find, and they get rid of a flash at the end of it off to Ignas. So when you really contrast,
All right, just going in again. Mystic going to get knocked up by Hans Summer. Force the flash. Mystic, he wants to get the kill. Oh my god, he hit a minion. Now the passive going to chase down. Igna going to take some damage. Oh my goodness, Ben gets the counter kill.
Such mixed execution, though, from WE. Ben actually taking a turret shot, and then Mystic flashing forward for the Q that would have finished off Hansama, hits a minion, goes down, and it even looked like he could have killed Hansama. It seemed like he hesitated with his passive to actually go for the AD carry.
what kind of Cogmore does this without a barrier? Why are we so aggressive down in the bottom lane? Misfits, I mean, it's a turret shot that's tanked by Ben. Mystic sees that as an opportunity to go forwards. Good flash from Hansama. You can see the Q being dodged. They're lucky that Ben puts in overtime here, gets the spell rotation, secures the kill.
They do at least get that kill, but on the other side, Hansama is the one who has the kill. He has the much better early buy. You know, he's able to go back, get the recurve bow against just the call and boots, so really not much combat power picked up here for Mystic, and with the barrier coming back up again for Hansama, they can utilize that summoner spell to really be aggressive.
And I think, again, Hans Summer has had a very impressive world here, especially as the games have ramped up for Misfits and the team has improved as a whole. And to me, the fact that Hans Summer, I mean, Misfits are already a team that looks good when they get leads, but Hans Summer in particular, he's picking these more aggressive matchups. He's willing to go toe-to-toe with some of the best players in the world. And when he gets a lead, he usually holds on.
Yeah, he does hold on very well. There are moments where he shows weaknesses, but mostly has been a strength and has been getting better as the tournament progresses. For a new player, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh, Rek'Sai is actually coming down. Maxlor could be looking for the dive. Remember, no barrier heal not available either. Condi on the way, though.
Condi's still around. Mystic going to get one shield. Now going to try and do something. As Ignas take the turret, but Hans Summer able to get the kill. And Ben and Condi going to try and group up the passive. He's going to force out a bag, but they're back in, and that's a double kill for Hans Summer. Now Shie and Power of Evil going at it. Shie does not dash over. Power of Evil flashes to safety.
This bottom lane is just an absolute disaster from Team WE. Misfits are running away with it because both 2v2s decide to fight each other and just one beats the other one. So Hans Summer and Igna are winning the game right now for Misfits.
Yeah, it just feels like Mystic and Ben are playing with a total lack of respect for their opponents. Time and time again, they know the barrier is available again. You're playing with the cleanse, which is completely useless in this 2v2 at this point in time, and they stay around, they look for the fight. No flash expended, no available rather to be expended here from Mystic, and no way out.
Really weird stuff, honestly. Ben will die as well by overstepping, trying to do some extra damage with a Cogmore passive. Gets baited into dying once again. And that is now a 3-0-1 Varus at 6 minutes in the game.
And remember, for any North American fans, WE must win for TSM to have a chance at a tiebreakers. And you know, for Misfits, they are looking to force a tiebreaker of their own for first seed.
Well, certainly playing back-to-back, if this game does snowball out of control, it'd be a huge windfall of momentum for them also. So WE going to have to dig their heels in. They are 2,000 gold behind.
They certainly are. And whilst the bottom lane is a pain point, you can see the mid lane matchup between Lucian and Cassiopeia's record globally. Now, one of the reasons that we often see Cassiopeia picked into Lucian is because of how well it works with the grounded. So 310 is a record. I mean, it makes a lot of sense when Lucian should be losing these lanes, but we're looking at it do quite well.
Certainly doesn't bode well for the later stages of the game, though, when your bot lane is that far behind, and you know, when Lucian has consistently been losing these matchups. And when you think of up on the top side, 957 doing very well. Condi does have a scaling advantage in the jungle, but are these things really enough to overcome what Misfits has gotten for themselves on the bottom side of the map. And especially with the Janna, I feel like it would really take some big mistakes from Misfits for WE to be able to scrap back in. They need to kind of slow down the game and hope that somehow they can out-teamfight their opponents later.
That is the WE special, after all, though. They are known as the Turtle. I actually called them Snail's Eyes once, just because I feel like it's a more apt description. It's like you poke it, they just disappear, and they slowly creep back out. So you try and find another chance.
Blue buff to Maxor is a nice invade from Misfits, continue to extend the pressure they've built in the bot lane. And I certainly hope the shenanigans are over, because Mystic, his second item after a target was a cull. Just knowing, all right, yep. I made some mistakes.
He's on a dagger power spike based time. He's going to be fine.
Farm it out. Well, there's a number of daggers in recurve bow. Don't know how that quite works scientifically. And an 8.5 minute ardent sensor. Not too shabby.
That's kind of a big problem for Team WE's 2v2 lane.
I mean, one of the best parts about this, too, for Hansama is that they're going for the same item build. And he's going to be able to skip so much of the awkward timing of the Rage Blade because he has all this extra early gold. Whereas, Mystic is going to be on scraps, while Hansama has an Ardent Sensor and a completed Rage Blade. And that is going to make it so incredibly difficult for him to be able to match the damage coming out of this Varus.
You're now looking at a Rek'Sai once again going towards the bottom side of the map. Teleport is available from Alphari, so we may well see that ward placement teleport play from them. Not going to be happening just yet, however.
Number 7 also still in the face of his opponent, so has a lot of ways to cancel on Shogat, but Misfits still
here
again
they go.
Shove the wave and look to dive. Condi on the wrong side to defend here.
And with ultimates available for the Rek'Sai for this Varus, it's just a full retreat for Mystic and Ben. They're going to have to back off, and that's going to be even more gold in the pockets here of Hansama. I think that they should just give the full solo gold over to this Varus.
I mean, Janna did have the Ardent Sensor done already, so I agree with you. Solo gold would have been pretty aptly placed if it was just for Hansama. Ultimately, it's still the first turret blood for Misfits, though. WE are in damage control mode, which means they will most likely concede every single objective that they can afford to remove themselves from.
Yeah, and it's nearly a 2,000 gold advantage just on Hansama. He has his Rage Blade, and look at the table scraps that are left over for Mystic, right? You can start to move around the map. You can look to actually force and utilize the advantages as they have this really strong Warrior Rek'Sai complete. You have Rage Blade, you have your Ardent Sensor. Get out on the map, see what they can get done. Yeah,
pretty much a 2-item Varus ready to go at this point. As looks like Condi sweeping in behind Power of Evil. Power of Evil, no flash, but he just have the cleanse. And look who's here to save him. Ignar, bit of a shield. Power of Evil just gonna force Xie away.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Xie because he was just trying to respond to a trade of Power of Evil. Condi, it was more a reactive jungle movement as well. He stole the enemy blue buff, saw an opportunity to look towards the middle lane, but ultimately that opportunity goes completely right. As you mentioned, Ignar shows up, and that's because the bottom lane's unlocked.
Oh no, Power of Evil, the ultimate could be a solo kill here, and Xie gets away with the dash, but now Maxor is gonna look to take him down. Prostig is gonna miss, and Maxor didn't flash early.
Good flash there from Xie, because if that Prostig hits, it unlocks the ultimate, and he would have got it executed.
Hansama instead is turning his hand to the jungle. Or I guess the Drake in the stage. Maxwell will join him, so Smite ready if they need it, but WE again with no pressure at all on this right-hand side of the map. Mystic and Ben forced to play passive and try and farm up, so Misfits, they take the very low-cost Drake.
Certainly will, and now Misfits continuing to pressure forwards, move forwards. WE are a practice team at being behind early, getting towards late game, but Misfits are also a practice team at getting early leads, turning that into victories. Which team would you rather be with right now? Definitely the Misfits side with the big power spikes they're starting to have come across.
Hansama and Ignar sticking in this 2v2, gonna force the wave back. So Alphari got some gold to spend, so maybe time for a swap for Misfits here and look to pressure another turret.
You are seeing the gold differences. Remember that most of the gold lead is the bottom lane. You look at the rest of the guys, it's 400 in the jungle. Mid lane actually has a slight CS lead, and top is just 2 tanks duking it out on their magical adventures, hitting one another. Not actually a lead there. This means that WE can perhaps play around the rest of the map if they want to do something aggressive, something forwards.
Yeah, and the question just becomes, what can Hansama get done with this lead, right? How can you actually exert your will on the map? How can you take this around and get something out of it? And they're going to be doing the lane swap. They're going to be sending this bot lane up top, which will be incredibly hard for 957 to be able to actually deal with. And we'll have to see if WE wants to try to match or if they're going to try to stay bot side and actually trade, because I think that Maokai is going to have a much better time trying to clear these waves.
Just unleashes on the Alphari, trying to harass him under the turret. Wave 2 though, pretty good here. WWE do have decent damage to this outer turret, but it's going to take a little while to go down.
If nothing else, Mystic is consistent while going forwards. He will seem to continue to just go forwards, and it hits a point where you're like, all right, he won't, but he is.
Look at those stats from Hans Sama, the highest score difference in 10.
Oh, this needs to work here for WE. They're looking actually for the TP and the dive.
Nice ult Condi here as well, though now Polymorph in onto the Maokai, gets knocked up by the Rupture, but the turret tanking by Ben. They're actually going to fully commit to the dive after the Permafrost hit. Turret is going to go down in top, Alfaro is going to follow, and the turret in bot goes down, so the trade will work for WE.
That was so big for WE. They really needed to have that dive work to get something back, but Misfits are already pushing mid lane, and the top lane is being shoved in, and this could be Xie going down.
Well, that's a problem there in the mid lane. Goodbye, Xie. 3-man dive from Misfits, answers that and more. They take the outer turret with it.
Yeah, once the culling was gone, there's no purpose in Xie staying around the middle lane. Mystic stays bottom to secure the turret. The dive took so long to get onto Alfari that Misfits just have all of the freedom in the world to get objective after objective. And this is the third one if Hans Sama stops getting hit by the spells. He's not a jungler, I'll forgive him this once.
Oh, even takes the old empowered recall.
Or is he a jungler?
Give him everything, and Alfari here, he has to know that the dive is coming, but actually decides to stay around, doesn't try to retreat, feels that he may be able to actually duke it out, perhaps not respecting the fact that Condi could have come down.
Yeah, I would say a lot of this from Misfits is just Alfari trying to buy time. He knows the minions, there's only one left, so he can just kill that single minion. He'll be okay. Of course, they continue, they commit to the dive, but during all of this time as they're diving bottom, Misfits start, WE start recalling. Misfits are pushing mid, an easy kill visible here onto Xie.
Yeah, and it's just, that's a combo, the knock up into the miasma, very easy to execute that dive. Xie not actually giving the credit to their opponents to be able to make that happen, but Misfits have been able to execute on these early games. That really has been such a point of power for them, and now having all the outer turrets down, having the Rift Herald available, they can look for...
Oh, hello, ult hit from Maxwell into Xie. Dive's still going, but Maxwell maybe a little too much. Monsoon looking to reset. It was all a ruse of Xie. Now forced back under the turret, but Maxwell gets the last word.
Well, Maxwell wants to go in. It looks like it's a mistake, but the whole team is there. The mistake is on Xie for staying around. Summoners are up.
They're actually going to go for the inhibitor. They have the Rift Herald available. They're going to be able to summon it right now and look to crack a 15-minute inhibitor turret. WE is not basing. Hans Sama still has not dropped it yet, though. I feel like this is a mistake.
Maybe waiting to a bit more damage, but might not even need it if he's calculated well enough. Misfits just do so much damage to the turret that Hans Sama's like, I'll take this empowered recall. I kind of like it.
Super handy to have Hans Summer, I guess. Not needing it is super big because they can use that elsewhere on the map at any time they would like. So good calculations, I guess, from the Misfits roster to know that it ultimately wasn't necessary, whilst it could have perhaps been an inhibitor if they wanted to overreach. It might have still been an overreach, and it could have come back to haunt them. It all starts from Xie.
Yeah, and Xie does play the initial part of the dive well, but then again, not wondering where is the rest of the team, not looking at the mini-map. There's no vision really around here for WE. 4 men come in and make him look silly for going forward. He did well to survive the dive, but that was enough, and the fact that he goes down means not only do they lose the tier 2, they lose the inhibitor turret as well. That is 5 turrets to 1 this early on for Misfits, a monumental lead.
Yeah, the league continues to get better. Like you said, next strike will be Infernal. Also, Misfits with the Mountain, very good at hitting these early objectives, so it should be a nice one to snowball through with. Misfits continue to just open this game up. Mystic, he got his Rage Blade, he's got a Zeal, he's getting some places, but still woefully behind Hans Sama in total gold. And the rest of WE are behind as well. So Misfits don't need to stop and should not be as they look to pressure bot again.
And honestly, with the inhibitor turret down, Misfits could even group 5 and look to just pressure the inhibitor if they want to unlock something like a really early Baron. I'm not sure that they want to go for that play, but really, what can you do to actually stop this team just simply entering your base at this point when they're so much stronger?
Yeah, most of it is through Hans Sama, who doesn't have his ultimate.
Power of Evil tries to get a good ult there from the Sedge to lock up Hans Sama. Still 957, trying to get it done. The silencer is not too bad, but looks like they're peeling away. In the meantime, Maxwell, no, he dove too far. 957 doesn't get the feast. Quite, the execute is not there, and it's a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, 957 with the knockup there onto Hans Sama. He could have had that kill, but still, WE fighting back. They're looking to pressure here.
Still want a little bit more. Hans Sama low, but still fighting it out with the Ardent Sensor, plus the Jana Shield's been here. Maybe a little too late, but Hans Sama again.
Oh, Mystic.
Really do too
Hans
much.
Sama's so low too, they can keep chasing.
WE still happy. Infernal Drake also spawned, but WE wants to fight instead. Misfits, though, can re-engage.
They have to just be slow now, Team WE. They want to go forwards, they really do, but Drake is a big priority. The risk of going into an area with no vision is dangerous, so they look towards the objective.
And they need to play around Kog'Maw W. They're TPing back in. They should secure the Infernal Dragon. And WE at least strike back, but it is just a trade of kills and the objective.
And with WE's hopes perhaps staying alive, so are NA's hopes. GSM sitting backstage, shaking in their boots, I've no doubt. We get to see how it all started.
Yeah, and it is a nice engage here from Condi. Does find the AD carry, but Jana peeling it out of there. The whip knockup from 957, not able to actually get into Hansama, but then Hansama just walks into melee range and allows him to feast him, which means he has to retreat.
38 HP on the Varus.
Not a lot. And critically, Hansama never use his Rift Arrow.
Yep.
He actually just let it time out, which is pretty disappointing. At least you want to see it just dropped in a side lane to force someone to go there and pick it up.
Ooh, Ignite trying to get cheeky. Mystic, though, is going to get the red buff.
And crazy enough, we have Mystic on 2 items. Yes, he is down the upgraded Targons. Yes, he is down the Berserker Greaves, but this is a reasonable point in the game for the Kog'Maw.
It's offense stats, though. So Mystic is still equal, except for Berserkers perhaps, but he's equal on offensive items completed. And it's a Kog'Maw against a Varus, and there is absolutely a world where you look at those two champions and say Kog'Maw might be doing more damage right now, even though he is so far behind.
Especially when, look across the
Mystic
board,
has cleanse.
flashes
Keep
are
this in mind.
almost all available here for WE, besides 957s. Hansama has no flash.
Mystic going to flash out of the way. Good little bait there. Great chain, though. Connie turn it back around. Maxwell taking a lot of damage, but 957 has made his way over. Maxwell flashes out to safety in towards Alfari. Ignat does the same, and now Hansama. He's isolated.
No flash available.
He sees a very delicious meal right in front of him. Silence of death, and there's a shutdown.
They can maybe get more. No flashes are really up here for Misfits, and WE does get to peel off because of the Alfari ultimate, but Misfits again going a bridge too far.
Now they're lucky that the mid lane outer turret is available, Misfits, because I saw WE moving towards the Baron pit that just spawned as well. Cassiopeia was on the opposite side of the map, pushing top lane. No teleport for a Cassiopeia because that's standard. No way to help the team. Yeah, it makes you wonder, what is Misfits doing? Either pushing into the jungle without the Cassiopeia, or what is he doing top lane? Something's clearly gone wrong here.
Certainly has, and it's a good engage onto Mystic, but Mystic flash available, goes over the wall. If Condi had nailed that ult, it would have been disastrous for Misfits, who had no flash available on Hansama, but the team has fully collapsed. It is a 5v4, as you pointed out, and Hansama gets split off from the team. No chance of escape without his Janna there and without the flash up.
Yeah, first step might have just been to force a cleanse, and then you're like, okay, Mystic flashed instead of cleansing. That's actually a big win for Misfits, but then just kept going, kept looking for that one extra second of time that gives Condi enough space to flash in and try and engage.
That being said, though, WE still very behind, down 5,000 gold at 21 minutes. Misfits are in a position of power, but they need to control the game. They can't let this slip away as they did versus TSM earlier, and they have the comp to win late.
Well, WE now actually on the offensive. Power Reaver's been hanging out in top lane for quite a while, so an opening perhaps for the mid-outer turret. Janna Shield's going to keep it a bit healthier, and looks like Alfari in with a flank. WE, though, sticking together. Do not want to get painted. In fact, maybe Alfari's the target here, but gonna miss that one.
And it is Mystic without the flash this time around. Hansama almost has it available, but Alfari's kind of caught.
That's a forced flash. Righteous Glory follow there. Uses the Nature's Grasp to try and lock him down. Hansama going there by Condi, and 957 take down the tank. Mystic still going up. Power of Evil way too far.
Power of Evil just flashed over the wall. This could be a WE Baron perhaps off those two critical kills. The solo laners for Misfits on a completely different page. WE want to force the Baron. They will go over, but there is still max lore available, and Feast is on cooldown for 957.
WE are on a tear right now. The solo laners, as you mentioned, Power of Evil saw his moment, but it wasn't his moment at all. Max Lore's the man to look for. WE getting a low.
30 seconds with his Feast. 957 will not have it. Instead, they find Hansama flashing for the silence, and the re-engage is here. It's all a bait here for WE. Permafrost planted on the Hansama.
Alfari's back.
That's not enough. Goodbye, Hansama, as Mystic gets some revenge.
Will they go back to the Baron? It looks like no for now. WE are going to decide to call it off. 957 is heading to bot lane. They want to retain control of the side lanes. WE has confidence in their late game. As you say, they are a team that loves to go late, that has confidence in their decision making and their team fighting. And right now, they have been up to the task.
Yeah, you call WE an Elder Dragon team is the coined phrase for them, because at 35 minutes, usually they'll win a game of League of Legends, but this is still only 22 minutes in, and the goal difference has been brought back to 3,000. Very unexpected stuff from WE, more unexpected from Misfits, consistently making brash decisions, not the correct moves.
They really are, and it just feels like they're on a different page. You see them looking for the fight, but Maxlor way far back, Power Eagle flashes into the pit. As Alfari is already down, if you're going to make that sort of play, it needs to be as a 5-man squad. It needs to be an immediate decision. And this has been where they've fallen flat. But WE, again, go over to the Baron. They find the knockup. Full commitment onto Hansama. As you pointed out, Rusty, he's a strong member. And if you lose Hansama, you lose your advantage.
That's exactly what has been happening every single time Team WE get that edge. This is the first time we've seen them going for Alfari first, and it still proves to be successful. That is cause for concern for Misfits. They're starting to show signs of weakness, of places that they can be exploited. It's becoming too much.
One critical purchase, though, for Hansama. He has the QSS, which is going to mean this sort of all-in rushdown style onto him is going to be much more difficult to pull off.
Current trade-off, though, is that given that the gold has now pretty much equalized between the two ADs, Mystic with his cleanse actually has more combat power right now. So the fights that were heavily favored for Misfits in this early part of the mid-game, WE have very much equalized, at least on the marksman front.
And now it comes back to what we've been talking about throughout this game. Who can get more with their advantages? The Rek'Sai certainly has been outscaled by the Sejuani, but Power of Evil on the Cassiopeia should be more of a power in these fights than Xie. Can he actually make that difference work for his team?
The crazy thing is, it's not like Misfits are by any means weak right now either. It's just
they're
that
very strong.
WE have been running down a stronger team and making it successful, but still this structure is up, it's alive, and as long as that stands, Misfits have an easy track to the Baron. You can see the wards that have been placed for them. Even after 2 lost fights in a row, they have enough control to see if WE go there.
And Misfits have done a great job controlling side lanes. I think to their credit, this is often putting pressure on WE. You can see both side lanes pushing for the Misfits. They have control over the Baron. They have defended their mid lane turret. So a lot still working for this European squad, who really is looking to upset this group, who is looking to force a tiebreaker to get first seed when they were supposed to be winless.
I mean, their other tiebreaker is playing for the spot. If they win, they are in, but Baron has been started by Misfits.
Teleports in.
Instant TP from 957, and Misfits just walk away casually.
I love this from Misfits. Force out the TP very easily. Full side lane control was not even recouped from WE. The top lane is still pushing, and now 957 cannot go to answer.
Yeah, it's a very clever way of utilizing the fact that Alfari does not have his teleport. They get it from 957, but this means that WE have got 5 people strong around the Baron area, and suddenly they look to control.
They will be able to at least fight back some of the vision, but still, these side lanes are going to be a problem. They need to at least get up to top side, push out that wave, and we see Xie is making his way up there to do so.
He doesn't have TP, of course, though, so opportunity 5v4 for Misfits, as Alfari's TP also almost back up, 25 seconds or so until it's available. So everyone's been kind of gearing up for that next big fight. The game has slowed down a bit in the last 5 to 10 minutes.
It certainly has, and another big purchase that's coming up shortly for Mystic is going to be the Blade of the Rune King, because they have a lot of magic damage. Getting the physical percent HP damage from the Blade of the Rune King is even more important, and that in combination with the Blade of the Rune King Black Cleaver combo onto Xie allows you access to shredding through these tanks who have mostly itemized for magic resistance. I mean, if you look over at Alfari, it just makes that buy so much better.
And he's got it, so he's going to be doing a lot of damage right now, Mystic. Now, the power play is still here for Misfits if they choose to take it. Teleport in advantage for them. Alfari's got that, and he's already going towards side lane, starting to set that up. He's now moving towards mid, however, which to me is a clear indicator Misfits aren't looking to split push and force a Baron. They need to try and stop what WE are doing. Maybe look for a pick with Maokai here.
Yeah, and it's certainly something that they have the ability to do. The cleanse now for Mystic, while it was, weakness earlier, is a very big strength at this point. It will be able to help keep him safe in these fights. It needs to be about an overwhelming amount of damage on a Mystic or a layering of crowd control. And WE now baiting out the Baron.
Good Trinket Ward though, Misfits. Now WE can't get back to mid lane safely. Again. All right, now they're going back in. Connie finds Alfari. Nature's Grasp burnt out there to try and disengage the rest of the fight. 4-man route actually nice, but 957 taking a lot of that early poke.
Still really good there from WE, forcing out the flash of Alfari, removes a lot of his playmaking, and makes him a vulnerability in the coming fight.
Yeah, removes a big part of the engage from Misfits, but they still have the
All
inside
PoE
track.
He got tagged, but no overcommit for 957. Good shield there from the Giant to protect the cast, but W again retain control of mid lane and then go up towards the top lane. She is going to answer that wave once again, and we're back to Baron.
Exactly.
Of course.
That is the dance that's continuing to happen. It's about side wave control. Bottom lane's now pushing for WE. So in a minute from now, there's a chance they make the play at Baron, but Misfits push mid, and then they go from mid to Baron. We're just doing circles now.
Exactly, and that's a really good call because WE, they had the proper response used against them when their top laner showed bot. Now it's WE's turn. You have to try to force Alfari to get that TP, or you cede bot lane control again with no teleport available. So they do start it up. We'll see TP immediately coming in. WE needs to pull off now.
Well, looks like they will. Mystic go forward, looking to chase Power of Evil.
It feels like two very evenly matched teams. Tit for tat, answering each other, forcing out the teleport, and in about a minute, even less, WE will have that TP advantage again, and then they will really have to try to look to get a side lane advantage with that. But you do always run the risk of getting hard engaged on and not being able to have that sort of impact when you come into a fight as a Cho'Gath.
Who dares is the question. Who dares to commit to the Baron or commit to a fight? Who wants to take that extra step? Because right now it's a game of chicken, and neither team is winning.
Well, nice to see, despite this strong back and forth between the two teams, that, I mean, Misfits, remember, they have a geographical advantage right now, given the turret score. So the reason that Power of Evil's been in their side lanes is because the mid lane out is still chilling out. WE are trying to siege and get stuff done, but because they haven't, they have to play very reactive.
Pretty soon, though, this wave is stacking up very large for WE in the bot lane. That is going to add additional pressure. Whether it's chip damage just from the minions in the bot lane, whether it results in them starting up a Baron or trying to go for something like a top turret will remain to be seen. But WE does want to get an advantage off of that because they have been slowly building this up.
There's a super interesting thing as well through the bottom lane because all of the turrets are gone. The waves that build up take longer, but are larger when they start to crash towards the opposing side of Misfits. Like, that minion wave is enough to probably take a turret. And will they go down there is going to be the question, because WE will no doubt start hitting the Baron as it crashes.
Yep, double cannon wave looking good.
And this is a time of vulnerability for WE, though. You don't want to start it yet. You want someone to respond, then start it. You need to force their hand first, and we'll see if WE preempts it, but they're going in.
Fire trying to catch, but he only finds the tanks. Pops the righteous glory. Still the fight is going to
Mystic
start.
isn't with the team yet, though.
Little late. Turn play pop there for 957. Nature's Cast gets one. And Mystic now looking to unleash onto the front line. Tornado does find him, but Misfits turn tail.
Very good disengage from WE. This is what they needed to force their opponents to do. They're losing the bot lane turret Misfits right now, and WE are going to be able to have some sort of advantage because of that.
Yeah, 957 gets chunked out, but he's got a Warmog, so he's going to sit back and regenerate. They're playing this out slowly, but surely, as Mystic seems to just be the frontliner. Remember, having cleansed, the engage is mostly the Varus ultimate. He knows, and he's confident that he can outplay it.
He does still have to be careful, though, about that layered CC coming in.
Ooh,
From the Casio, they found 957.
But still damage happening. Frontline a little split there. Oh, the null nails Han Solo. And Mystic's looking to unleash hell. Power of Evil. Flash over the water. Try and peel with the ultimate. Maxwell. Now he's the one caught out as Miasma catches the heels of WE. Alfari on the top side. Left out to dry. Is he going to go down? He does find Mystic. He's absolutely dead.
Straight to Baron for Team WE. They don't just have a pick, everyone's low. And it means that Misfits, if they don't go back to base, WE will probably just turn on them again, look for the team fight.
Backsword, no flash. He is very low as this full damage Rek'Sai, but he has a chance to go for a one-way trip, to go for the steal, but it's against a feast and the smite of WE, so it's up to them to pull off this combo.
Maxwell, can he be the hero and push his team towards the quarterfinal spot? No, smite into feast is more than enough.
And suddenly WE 600 gold behind from a very disastrous early game. Now almost with the front foot forwards after getting the Baron, can start to get maybe more than one turret.
Yeah, and it would have been so hard for Maxwell to go for that because they had no vision in the pit. No wards actually available, as you know, the trigger ward was on cooldown for Power of Evil. He couldn't get there. And here is the fight again. They look to actually engage. 957 taking up so much of this damage though, and finds the knock up onto Han Sama. The backline getting pushed out. Nice ultimate over the corner there from Condi, and eventually it's Alfari isolated from the team, and they can take down this front line.
And Mystic with his W up runs at the carries of Misfits, and once it's down, goes towards the tanks. His target selection was immaculate, and Hans Sama uses the Varus ultimate onto a cleanse for Mystic. It was never going to do anything.
And this feels like one of the first times in the tournament we have actually seen the Lulu really start to pay dividends. The Lulu is going even or better than even in these later stages against the Janna. We have not seen Hans Sama be able to get anything done with his lead. It feels like he's not found the positioning. The teamfight has not found the organization to actually get something done, to have this guy free firing. He's been constantly pressured, and that is the biggest difference between Hans Sama on this Varus and not being able to get anything done, and Prey, who was untouched and free firing, putting out enormous amounts of damage.
A damage differential almost as big as Hans Sama's early gold lead in that last team fight. I mean, Mystic has done so well to even get ahead on gold at this stage, and WE with the Baron, you have to think they'll be finally able to knock down some outer turrets. Misfits will not make it easy, and here's a gank attempt.
Maxwell's up here though.
Tag. All right, GA's just going to try and run away. Oh, that's quite a lot of damage. Now the TP coming in. It's 1v3 for now, but soon to be 2v3. GA blasted out of the way. He's trying to be a hero. The rest of WE barrel down the turret. Ulti is good. Still going through. Igna, maybe the target doesn't want to go down. Ben! Oh, he tries to flash for the wild growth, but cannot get it.
Hans Sama is not here, though. If WE can force the fight, they could be in a strong position. We'll see if they go for it.
Walking up out of the way, but Adaptive Helm helping out Hans Sama, cutting through the jungle. Redemption going to reset slightly. Oh, Hans Sama.
Oh, he's isolated.
Have to be careful, Rupture, not going to hit. Couldn't see him, no vision there for WE.
No, there's no cleanse for Mystic for just a small amount of time as well. It's so unfortunate when Ben came in with the flash, it was just out of range. They almost did the impossible and kept their Lucian alive.
Yeah, and despite the attempted heroics, I have to criticize even attempting to go for that. Why not just push mid with 4 when 3 are top and you have Baron? Knock down multiple turrets, pressure the inhibitor instead. They try to make the heroic play. They do Lucia anyway, as well as their teleport from 957, as well as the flash from Ben, which may not have been worthwhile.
Well, they take the mid out in and amongst the shenanigans, but like you said, probably was easy enough. Power of Evil! Ulti timing. Rupture is not good enough. Not quite able to snipe the Cassio. Ulti hits on a Mystic, gonna root up everybody here. Wild growth on the Ben, but he dies anyway to Hans Sama. Now Mystic, the target in the back, forced to flash away, but no. Final crit from the Varus. 957 is gonna die in the front lines. That was a mistake.
Yeah, WE in full retreat now. They're gonna try to cut them off. Ignar is looking to go around. Mystic is very low and very far from home. We're gonna see if they can get out, because if they can take it down.
Tag, ulti, that's a shutdown for Maxlaw.
Oh boy, they get another kill onto Mystic. Condi and Mystic separate, and just like that, Maxlaw gets the opportunity to find another kill on the back half. Shear's alive. He's starting to come around on the bottom side of the map, but WE are throwing a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a game of inches here. 957 mistiming the knock-up on Power of Evil, and Chie looking for the 1v1. Can he outplay the ultimate?
Trying to solo it out. He can, but the miasmas go from Power of Evil. Stop! The final shot of Culling gets the solo.
Chie comes up huge for the team just after you said it, Rusty. It felt like they were starting to lose control of the game. He comes up with a big play.
Certainly does, but that's the consolation prize, because this all starts with what looks so good for Team WE. The mistiming on the knockup, mistiming on the barrage as well from the Cogmore gives Varus the opportunity, and Hans Sama's hitting them.
And I love the target selection. Deleting Ben, taking him out means there's no support for Mystic. He can't actually re-enter the fight without that Lulu backing him up. But then the chase down, they find Mystic, they get the tag, able to take him out with the ultimate, and Chie making something happen on the bottom side of the map. Certainly critical for WE and their chances in this game.
And just like that, fortune's reversed here. Hans Sama dishes out a monumental amount of damage versus Mystic in that team fight. The cold locked in place at even between these two teams. WE, though, still on the offense.
There's a tiebreaker no matter what happens at the outcome of this one. TSM are hoping that WE can win. They still have momentum to do so, but Misfits are fighting back right now for all of EU.
And Mystic now cleanse and QSS. He wants to be playing this frontline cog. He wants to be flying forward and does not want to risk getting that overlap CC that does take him down. So this is really going to give him the ability to go wild in these fights, and it comes down to Hans Sama, this young AD carry against Mystic, touted as one of the best players in the world. Which AD carry will step up for their team and be able to take over?
WE playing far forward with initiative, but major buffs are spawning in a minute 25. Elder Dragon will actually be 5 seconds after the Baron spawns, and that Mystic has a lot of gold to spend. Looks like teams are going to reset around the objectives. We'll have a look at the damage deals here in this game. Again, with the back and forth, you're kind of expecting the two carries to be close, and that is close.
Yeah, there's still a fair amount of damage being done by the ADs. Even the jungle position though for Maxor. Remember, he's gone for the warrior build, completed the Guardian Angel just recently, and he's able to output a fair amount of damage. He's a big threat for Mystic, and if the AD carries are the two people we're looking at, Misfits can kill them quite well.
They certainly can. We also have to wonder, can Power of Evil get involved? Can he actually, get a major team fight for his team? Because while he has had a fairly quiet game, he is scaling up on this Cassio. 4 major items now completed, and a lot of room still to grow on this champion. Really is one of the few mid lane characters that can deal with the late game tanks, that can act as a pseudo-AD carry.
Well, there are 2 marksmen on WE's side and 2 Infinity Edges to match them that they have now completed on both the Lucian and the Cogmore. Certainly the damage is there for WE, but Misfits are not that far behind when it comes to team fighting. Once again, with the gold even and the game locked with another Baron, execution is everything.
And the target goes on top of Xie's head ultimately for not having a QSS. He is a very killable man on Summoner's Rift. Is WE looking at the Baron. It looks
like they're actually going to trade objectives here. The Elder is going to be rushed by Misfits. Remember, that is a shorter burn on that buff. They need to be able to get something done immediately with this. Try to push up and take that open inhibitor or get something, because WE just needs to delay.
Yeah, they've actually already started the push, so good setup there from WE. Misfits,
okay,
they have to take the
for the inhibitor. They're going to try to rush it. They have to be careful, though, because Misfits has more combat power right now.
Ignat, good little shield, but this turret probably going to go down. She, again, has to be so careful under the lockdown of Misfits.
Yeah, respect the crowd
TB coming in behind. Misfits is going to force this, and WE may have stayed around too long.
Alfari not in the right spot, though. No flank wards, really, with no vision for the Baron that they just took. Misfits, they make the trade, but they cannot find the fight.
But they probably just go straight towards the middle lane now. Try and keep tabs on where WE are. Throw out the P-shooters from Maxlaw consistently. Just try and retain that vision. When you go mid lane, you force WE to waste time on the Baron, where you're a stronger team fighting team.
And it's going to be, can WE outlast this buff and then get something done afterwards? That's really what they want to do. They've gotten a lot of gold from the Baron secure. They are going to have the ability to try to siege this now very low top lane inhibitor turret, but you don't want to play into the strength of Misfits. With this true damage burn, right now, they would have a significant advantage in any even team fight.
He also did get his QSS, so that potential danger is somewhat averted, as now Xie can, help outplay some of the lockdown that Misfits have, but we're getting very stocked in the inventories at this stage of the game. It looks like Misfits, with less than 50% of the Elder Dragon buff to play with, may get not too much of a fight.
I mean, this is going to stop playing with the Elder Dragon, let the Baron do its work.
Yeah, the build from Maxor really does kind of take some mentioning here. This is so aggressive. Even the Mortal Reminder, this is full-on damage Rek'Sai, and he's been having a fairly good game for himself. And while Rek'Sai traditionally does not have a lot of effectiveness in the late game stages, with this much AD built up, you can take out a carry. You can actually be that saving grace for Misfits if he can find Xie, or if he can find Mystic and get his full combo.
Both junglers have an important role of looking towards the enemy AD carry. Maxwell has kill threat, whereas James Condi on the other side of the map has been sniping people. It's 007 score.
I got it, and I liked it.
We'll be actually trying to snipe off Hansama. However, he's got the QSS as well, so it's very hard to take him down.
The one thing I will say is it's massively harder, in my opinion, to actually execute on a full damage Rek'Sai team fight than it is on the Sejuani, right? The Sejuani is a damage sponge. You walk forward, you press your locket, you hit pretty much anyone with your ultimate, and you add a lot of percentage HP damage, you add safety for your backline carries, and your job is complete. For Maxor, if you go in and you mess up, you will die almost instantly.
Well, WE don't have too much Baron left, but with 45 seconds to go, 957 has finally completed some 3-lane pressure here for Team WE. Again, WE sticking together. Xie's got the top side pushing down, pretty strong in a 1v1, and his team can back him up not too slowly. WE, they're just going to transition over and try and take down the weakened inhibitor turret.
You know, it is still crazy to just put this game into context and say that WE have a gold lead at all with how it started off. Misfits with major advantages. completely gone now, washed away. WE start to push forwards.
That is 2 autos on Maxlor there, and that could mean their inhibitor turret going down. Mystic is stepping forward, and Xie is looking to knock down the top lane at the same time.
1v1, Xie looking good to try and take the turret, but Baron is about to wear off. There'll be maybe one more push with Condi having slight extension, but WE, I think they're just going to pull away.
The cannon might... Oh, there it is.
Yeah, one more pass. Xie does manage to take the turret.
One thing I really would like to see from WE's side is actually a Knight's Vow. Protected Mystic even more. All of their eggs are in this Kog'Maw basket. They need to keep them safe.
Oh, Hansama, that was a crucial chain of corruption to not have hit. And Xie's still here, pestering Power of Evil. Gonna let the Cullen go.
Alvari's flanking though.
Alvari here, banging to try and speed over, but a great clip. He pops out, now doing so much to Alvari. Ultimate not quite enough as Mystic is letting it all go. Xie flashes in aggressively as the rest of the team is zoned away. Hansama silences WE, surging forward into Misfits.
It looks like they're going to be able to keep fighting here, Pastry.
Gonna keep going. Power of Evil does get there as Maxwell also goes down. That's 3 kills as a double. Lands for Xie. Too far forward. Hansama flash on him with a shutdown, but Mystic puts the nail in that coffin. And WE are going to take this game and claim first.
The LPL, 2 first seeds in groups. They will punch their ticket to the quarterfinals as the best team from Group D.
It was a tough fight, but WE stay true to themselves and their slogan. They fall behind, they come back late, and they keep their dreams alive.
Super performance from Team WE to come back from a major deficit like that. The bottom lane, Mystic and Ben, they prove that their style will never change, no matter how well or poorly they're playing that game out. They had the Kog'Maw, they had the scaling, but a lot of the onus still falls to Misfits, who went down with a lead that large, throwing it all away.
And that's 2 games in a row now for Misfits, starting the day with a win, putting themselves to 3-1. They've now fallen to 3-3 after 2 enormous leads that they built up for themselves in the early stages of the game, both against TSM and now here against WE. So they have got to be heartbroken that they're even forced into the situation of a tiebreaker with TSM. It will be 1 game to decide it. Will Europe move on, or will North America?
Well, for now, WE will bow to their home crowd here in Wuhan and send off happy finishing in first. Nothing for them to worry about at this point. They can kick back and relax at 5-1 with a first seed.
And it's felt like they have just been getting better and better through the play-ins. There was a lot of questions. First week of groups, more questions really kind of posed here to WE. How good is this team? And I think that in week 2, they really have answered a lot of them. 3-0 on the day, looking very dominant. Clearly the best team from this group, and securing that first seed.